back now. No going back now. Well, you joined me with a bit of progress on sorting out the fuel pump, in that I have swapped the relays. That made no difference. Changed the fuses that I found on the side, left-hand side, that made no difference. And there's definitely that clicking sound that we can hear is coming from inside the tank. So I took the tank off and put it onto its side while it was still connected, and I could hear the clicking coming from inside the tank. So I think it's definitely the pump. So far, I'll show you what we've got. We've got the tank off. I managed to get some of the fuel out, and it stunk. It stunk like whiskey. It was horrible, and it was a yellow color. So I don't think that it was a bad fuel, because the pump just wasn't going. So yeah, the relays were under here. Swap the 2 and 3 over. I think it's the horn and the fuel pump. Nothing happened. I think there's fuses under here. Where are they? In here. Swapped a couple of them over. Nothing happened. Well, I swapped them all over. Nothing happened. The battery's fine, fully charged. So the tank came off. And I was worried about these pipes going to the tank. So I put the pliers on them, and I may have damaged the outside, but I don't think I've kinked them or anything. They look pretty okay. So right, so the tank is here. I've emptied most of the fuel, but there's still some in there. So I'm thinking if I undo this off first and pull all the insides out, and then tip it into there, what's left in there. I hope it all comes out. I shall find out. I'm trying to do this single-handed, so let's have a look at this together for the first time ever. Something holding it? No. Oh, what's going on? I thought I was supposed to put it to the back of it. Okay, I'll have to come back to you. I mean, wow, I was expecting some real horrors, like the ones I've seen on various YouTube videos, coming out all manky and God knows what. But this is almost mint condition. There's nothing I can see what's wrong with it. I don't know what's in that inside there, but the pump looks fine. The wiring looks fine, all pretty good condition. So yeah, filter. This around the filter, pretty good. That's pretty good. Those guys down there are pretty, almost pretty good. They got a little mark on them, but oh yeah, they're falling apart. They are very squidgy. But still, I don't think they're just breathers, aren't they? Yeah, they're just breathers, so they shouldn't be affecting the pump. Right, well, I'll undo those, take it off, empty the tank, and then let's have a look inside the tank if I can. With some light maybe, see what it's like on the inside. Right, got the tank here. I think I need to undo this and unhook the breather pipes that are going in inside and then out the back here, and these are corroded and pretty crap. So I've got some new pipe material that I've ordered here, which is I'm hoping will do the job. So got some T25 torques to undo these, and hopefully they're not too tough, and I'll join you then when I've got this off and see what's inside it. So this is the new pump in here. I did an unboxing video for it if you want to see all the bits and bobs that came with this, so I'll put a link to that up there. And next, as we'll do, is I'll be replacing all these parts. Replacing all these. That's the filter, the pump, and the bag filter, is it? The pre-filter, and the seal there as well. It's arrived with a new seal, and I'm not going to put the regulator in at this point. I don't want to change too many things, and if it doesn't start or doesn't idle, I won't know who's responsible. So I'll leave that off the list for now and just do the pump. Now, I did do a test where I hooked up the points here of the pump to the battery on the bike there, and sure enough, not a squeak out of this pump, but out of the new one it spun away and made a noise. So I'm quite confident that it's definitely the pump that has gone at this stage. I was worried there that that would spin up, and I was barking up the wrong tree with this whole problem. I mean, I may still be. There may be more than one issue. But anyway, so the next step is take all this apart. All this piping looks pretty good, so I'm not going to replace any of this. All this looks pretty good. Otherwise, all I'm going to do is replace these. Right. Are they the same length? Yeah, so far they are. Don't need to remember which hole they came out of, I don't think. It's the sort of thing that happens to me. One screw will be different, and I won't remember which hole it came out of. Right, what do we have here? Oh, here we go. Thought I undid it for nothing there. There we go. As you can see, the corrosion, and it's soft, and it was very spongy when I first gave them a squeeze when it was in the fuel in the tank. But you can see there is damage there. Otherwise, everything else is not bad. Not bad at all. So I will get these off somehow. I believe you're supposed to be able to pinch them off. But we shall see. It's the first time I've encountered these sorts of clips on this little project, so I don't know how it's going to go. They're roughly the same length. Yeah, they look like the same length, don't they? Anyway, I'll measure them and replace them like for like. Right, I'll come back to you when they're on. But let's have a peek inside the tank first, see if there's anything. Yeah, can't see really. What's this? There's a rubber seal on here. I'm guessing it should be right to use the same one. So I'll probably will use the same one. I'll clean all this up. So here we are several days later. I've replaced the breather pipes and used these new clips here, which I bought off Amazon, crimped them on. I cut them to just a little bit above the length of the original ones. I thought I'd just give myself a bit more room at the other end when I'm trying to fit them to the under fittings. So it's a question of sliding that back in and tidying up the top. So here we go. Luckily, as it's been several days, the tank has actually dried out. So I can put my hand in without getting it soaked in petrol. So there we go, and pull those out the bottom. And there we have that. I'm keeping the same seal on there. See, it's pretty good. And now we put on the delightful petrol cap. Oh, I've got a mark on there. No, it's just dirty. And put that on there. And it's a question of lining up. Yeah, I'm going to put some gold grease on there. So yeah, I'm going to put some of this copper grease just at the end of these screws here, just to make sure they don't get too seized in, because they're a bit tough getting them out. So I'll do that right now. T25 was it? Yeah, T25. And go crisscross. I don't know if there's a torque for this. I'll go and look it up, and if it is, I'll tweak them up to the right limit. So yeah, so hopefully there we are now, ready on the underside here to tackle this bit. I'm going to clear up all this bits of residue here from whatever inner coating they have on the tank. I've left all that inside as is. It's been like that for nearly 25 years now, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. So I haven't touched it, scraped it or anything, all the bubbly paint inside. But I'm just going to tidy up where this ring goes here so it gets a good seal. I'll also put some copper grease onto these screws here when I come to put in the pump. So the next bit is we'll look at the pump and replacing the old pump with the new one. That's next. Okay, you join me about 5 months later. Yes, that's how long this thing's been sitting around. So I have got to the stage now where I have replaced the pump in here, and I need to put the pre-filter bag thing on it before I put it in. And I've replaced the crimps on here. I've used the same hose and the same hose there. Replaced those crimps and those crimps there. This is the original still on here. And basically tightened these, made sure they're really tight, because I don't want them coming off at any point in the tank. The gasket here is the new one that comes with the new kit. I have tried to clean around here as much as I can, and it doesn't feel there's anything there, just a bit of roughness. And also within the tank itself, I'll bring this over here, I have cleaned as much of this old paint that was in the recess here where the gasket goes, as much as I can. But it's a bit rough in there, and I was worried that I'm going to end up with a fuel leak. So I don't know whether it's going to be a good decision or a bad decision when I've gone and bought this stuff. So a gasket, dressing and sealant, and fuel resistant. So I thought I might just put a teeny tiny bit just all the way around the gasket on the both sides. I know it's really gooey, messy stuff, so I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to do it. I don't want to plaster it on and end up stuff going inside the tank, and, well, it won't go inside the tank. Well, it might do, actually. So I don't want it going inside the tank, falling off, so I need to put it very sparingly, just on the edge of here, just to sealing any micro gaps that are in there. So that is the plan. So the old one is, yeah, that was pretty brittle. So it was good to change that. The pump itself, well, this stuff on the other side just fell apart. That wouldn't come off, ended up being breaking off. We couldn't get that off. And otherwise, it was pretty straightforward doing that. And taking off the old ones here, I ended up having to get an oscillating saw, is it, onto there to just be able to get a screwdriver into there and to wiggle it off. These are pretty tough. This tool, I don't know if you're supposed to be able to get them off with that, but it was just impossible. The angle to get at it, but also I just didn't have the strength. So I ended up having to effectively hacking a gap in there, enough to get a teeny tiny screwdriver in there and wiggle it off. So, or loosen it enough to slide off the end. Anyway, those are those. And the plan is, with the screws over here, I was going to put some of this teeny tiny bit of copper grease on there, just to protect them a bit and make it easier to come off next time. And as for the inside of the tank, as you can see, there's some bubbling in there of the paint. See if I can get some light in there. It's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. But it's got some bubbling in there. Oh, there we go. There's a break. You can see it. Bit of a break. Oh, there we go. So I've decided that I'll try and pull off as much as I can, but I'm not going to try and clear it all. At the end of the day, if it does come off and go to the bottom of the tank, the pump is sitting that far up from the bottom of the tank. The pre-filter on here, proper filter up here. So I don't think any of the gunk will work its way through if any of that dried paint does come off. So that is the next stage going forward. And so I'll come back to you when that bit's done. Right, put that in there. The seal is sitting in the recess. Triple check that. And so now we put the screws, the bolts back on, and then tighten them up in a crisscross fashion. Get them just tight enough, just touching. At one point I thought whether this was the right way around. So I did try and turn it, but it just wouldn't turn. So this was the normal way. The writing here being facing the bottom of the tank needs to make sense. I did take photos of these, but I'm pretty sure this is the way it goes. It wouldn't turn any other way. Okay, found them. So there's these things going there. That's what I did earlier. It's the other one. So these. Press when you pull them apart somehow. There we go. Click them in. So one on each end of the fuel, and one for each pipe. But my question is it that way around, that way around, or doesn't it matter? Okay, the tank is back on. The oil filter is obviously all in there, and I've hooked up the fuel pipes here. I couldn't fit in the quick release, the fuel quick release. Of course, the two hoses on either side here are different sizes. One goes into the other on my bike, but when I looked on YouTube, the other videos of this bike being fitted with a quick release, they have the tubes of the same sizes on both sides. So I need to look into that, how I can fit that in, or maybe I'll just put them on eBay. But anyway, so that's all hooked up, everything's ready. Ooh, I haven't plugged it in here. So I plug in the old power into there. So before I put the fuel in, let's just double check that we can hear the pump going, starting up. Got another kill on there. Did that earlier, scared myself that I've done it all for nothing. There we go. That's the noise we didn't have at the beginning. So there's the fuel pump going. So we've progressed. I have not done an almighty cock up. So getting the petrol in is the next step. All right, cool. Put that into the tank. Right. Let's see. It's not any different. I thought it might have sounded different if there's fuel in there now. Oh, it does a bit. Here we go. Oh, that was promising. worried it wasn't going to idle because the pump wasn't configured right or something or other. These are the guys. The fuel. No leaks, no leaks. Yeah, so look at that. This one size goes inside that one. Well, this thing, they're both the same size both sides. So these weren't going to go in. Anyway, in between, I'd have to like cut into there and put in there. But I wasn't sure whether it was going to fit in with the cover going on top. But even if I got that one in, this one wasn't going to go in anywhere. It needed to go sort of in that sort of position. Anyway, I might do more research into this, see if people had the same issue. How did they get around this? Did they just replace this, all of it? So I'm guessing internally they must be still 8mm or whatever it is, but externally they're different. Oh well, if not, these are going on eBay. Well, that startup was way better than I was expecting. I thought I was going to have a bit of a battle on my hands. That was literally as you saw, first time. With the fuel in, a few turnovers, with the fuel flowing through. And she's running. What I definitely need to do is change all the other fluids now. So the swing arm, engine oil, and the lights. I'm not very good at brake fluid oil, so I might leave that for the service or something. But yes, I'll probably do a video of changing the fluids on this, watch a few more YouTube videos. Yes, little beauty. Ambrosia is back on the road. Thank you for watching. Safe riding, everyone. Click the like and the subscribe, please. If you thought this was of any use to anybody. There's a few of these videos out there, but they're all pretty old. So there's a little updated one for 2026. Cheers. Bye-bye. All back together. Except... a little oil leak. Nothing to do with me. I've known I've had it for quite a long time. And I think I'm going to have to deal with that. Which means going behind here. Because I think it's coming on from underneath here. I hope I don't have to take all these screws off. If I do, I need to have a look at the video first. Make sure I don't have the whole engine's guts fall out on me. I don't think so. I think it might be just a... Well, I don't know. I'll check a video out first. My next job on the GS is these radiator guards. They're gonna go somewhere in there. In there. To protect the radiators. The radiators, they were quite exposed on both sides. So yeah, that's the next job on the GS.